Good morning, everyone. WPS, Ambassador Duarte, Dr. Gokarn, Nandan, fellow panelists. Thank you, WPS, for actually giving me a peg to start off with, because you said that BRICS is a group that should not exist, or that did not actually have a reason to exist except for a very clever phrase coined by Goldman Sachs. In a sense, I think that's become something of a habit, because now we've seen the emergence of the MICTA group on the same basis, and speculation about some sort of grouping of the next 11 emerging. So, in a sense, BRICS, I think, is a grouping that has validated itself through its very existence. Now, underlying this is an assumption that a multilateral grouping, to be viable, to be constructive and productive, we need to have an identity of views within the group. In other words, that there should be an intrinsic organic linkage for a group to become viable. And I would argue that in the present state of play globally, such an assumption is not necessarily valid. I believe that multilateral relations today are guided by a spirit of what I like to call fluid multilateralism. Groupings come into being, emerge, and nations come together for particular purposes, for particular arrangements, and it is not required of all of us that our views coincide completely across the board. So to that extent, there is merit in BRICS coming together in the manner that this has. I would take that further and argue that what holds this group together is a sense not just of the weight of each of the member countries individually, but a certain synergy collectively, which emerges from, well, the size of the economies, the investment potential is one set of factors. I think another set of common factors is that these are countries which have a certain perspective, a certain global perspective on current issues of governance. Primarily, I would emphasize governance. And this gives a certain resonance to what they say within groups, within the group and as a group. The creation of the new development bank is, I think, one concrete reflection of the weight of these countries. This will be an important element of the BRICS agenda at the upcoming summit. But by now, this is already a work in progress. The first meeting of the board is happening this very week. And the president of the bank will be with us at the summit. 4 of the 5 countries have ratified the agreement. And it is our hope and expectation that by the time of the next summit, this will actually have taken on concrete shape. If I might meander a bit, the point can be made that actually it has taken longer, or it is taking longer for the new development bank to come into being than the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. I'm sure that this is a point that will be made in the course of the discussion. But I would also argue that that's not a reason to disregard or underrate the new development bank, because the new development bank is an historical response to the Bretton Woods institutions, because it is It sort of brings together 5 major countries. It offers a different model of economic governance. So I think it is a very important and significant development, and not one that should be underrated in any way. I note that the Brookings paper on this discussion highlights the issue of climate change as being an important one on the agenda of the BRICS Summit this year. I think climate change is an inescapable part, is an indispensable part of the agenda in all multilateral groupings this year. And it's not therefore unexpected that it will be a topic of great interest. I should also note that the 4 of the 5 BRICS members have actually met at the ministerial level on the subject of climate change day before yesterday and yesterday. And we have issued a statement which again underlines the common concerns that the BASIC countries have, and our intention to go into the negotiations with a constructive approach, with a forward-looking approach, and with certain common shared principles. The BASIC countries don't include Russia, as we all know, but the BASIC group has met at the ministerial level, and this certain commonality of approach and positions is going to be carried forward into BRICS as well. The issue WPSU highlighted of cyber governance and of information security is an important one. Again, this will be an issue which will be discussed in the BRICS format. I think this is one of those issues where the BRICS members have some common views, but there are others on which we don't agree. The fact is that our membership of BRICS, our full participation in BRICS, our very enthusiastic support of BRICS, does not demand of any of us that we have absolute identity of views. I think that is one of the merits of this form of multilateralism, that, as I said, we come together for purposes which we agree on. We come together to seek partnerships, to seek support, but without in any way demanding an identity of views or an absolute conformity of views on all issues on the multilateral agenda. I think this is really what I would like to say to kick off the discussion, and let's see where we go with this. Thank you.
Thank you.